We begin tonight with a story that you'll only see on 12 News, as an East Valley teacher has his license suspended for dressing up as the devil and stating "Hail Satan" multiple times to students. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Cody Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. That's not the end of it. The State Education Board also found that that same teacher wrote inappropriate messages in students' yearbooks. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with a student who was in his class. He is live outside of Mesa High School tonight where it all happened. Chase?
Mark Caribe, both of those incidents happened in 2023. The teacher was placed on administrative leave and resigned a month later. Now, all this time later, he learned that he won't be able to teach in the state of Arizona for 2 years. Mesa High student Nathaniel Hamlet walked into math class thinking it was going to be a regular day until he saw his teacher, Jesse Ruiz.
Getting a pitchfork put in my face.
Hamlet says Ruiz, while dressed as the devil, repeatedly shoved the pitchfork at him.
He did it to everyone. He did it to people that he didn't even know.
He also yelled the same phrase over and over.
He was saying "Hail Satan" like 5, 6 times.
While some students found it funny,
it just irked me. It just didn't feel right. Because I believe in God, obviously, but I don't know. It just ticked me off.
Nathaniel's dad, Chris, was also not happy.
Well, I was irate. I mean, we're Christians. We believe in Jesus.
He filed a complaint with the district and says the next day Ruiz was escorted out of the building and placed on paid administrative leave. A month later, Ruiz resigned. Now, just this week, the board confirmed the claims saying Ruiz repeatedly said "Hail Satan" and used profanity in class. His teaching license was suspended for 2 years.
I think it's a just punishment. I think it's fair enough.
I thought it was just. I thought, you know what? Maybe after 2 years he can come back and redeem himself.
But then Hamlet saw what else investigators found with Ruiz that also led to his suspension: writing inappropriate messages in students' yearbooks.
Well, he specifically refers to gay sex in this thing.
Officials said just a few months before the devil incident, Ruiz was a teacher at Skyline High School in Mesa. In May, an employee there reported what Ruiz wrote in some students' yearbooks. It included, quote, "Thanks for all the free canes, gay sex, ... LOL. And I am going to miss the blank out of you." In a female student's yearbook, he wrote, quote, "You should have run away from home, or we should have kidnapped you," along with other comments that were also deemed inappropriate.
That was the big red flag right there.
Hamlet now believes Ruiz's punishment doesn't go far enough.
This is the pattern, and it's very dangerous. They should have stopped him at Skyline. He should have never got to Mesa. I think they should have pulled his license. He has no business teaching children.
Now, before Ruiz can get his license back, he will also have to take professional courses, including a boundaries course. I did reach out to Ruiz multiple times today for comment, but I never heard back. However, when we first covered the story back in 2023, he told me the reason why he dressed as the devil is because it was Spirit Week here at Mesa High, with the theme being dynamic duos. He was dressed as the devil. The teacher in the classroom right next to him was dressed as an angel. As for the yearbook comments, haven't received any response from him on that, but with those documents we received, Ruiz's attorney did say that he did make those comments in yearbooks that crossed the professional boundaries. However, the attorney did say that the district found no sexual misconduct between Ruiz and any of his students. We're live in Mesa. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. We're following some developing news in North Phoenix, where 3 people are in critical condition after a truck crashed into a wall. The crash happened around 6:30 tonight near 46 Drive and Anthem Way. Phoenix Fire tells us that when crews arrived on the scene, they found 2 people who had been thrown from the truck and another person who had to be pulled out. All 3 were taken to a nearby hospital with serious injuries. DPS is now investigating what led to the crash.
And tonight, fire crews are starting to make progress on the Cody fire, which is burning north of Tucson near Oracle. The fire has burned over 1,200 acres and is 5% contained tonight. We're told multiple structures have been destroyed. However, the extent of the damage is unclear. News 4 Tucson spoke with a woman who says she's still operating her business despite losing her home.
So I got a phone call from my dad saying, "You need to get home now," and we raced there. We were able to grab our dog and nothing else. All the flames were eating everything up already.
People in Oracle are now doing what they can to support her business, which is called Simply Sandwiches. If you'd like to drop by, it's located in the heart of Oracle, right off State Route 77.
Phoenix Fire had to make 2 rescues today at Camelback Mountain. Crews were initially called for a man with a leg injury. Once they got him off of the mountain, they were then called for another hiker halfway up the trail who was dealing with some heat-related symptoms. Phoenix Fire used its helicopter to hoist the woman off of the mountain. Officials say that if you plan on hiking this weekend, make sure that you bring more than enough water with you.
We talk about it all the time.
Yes.
To be prepared and always take more water than you think you need. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is joining us. And Lindsay, it's going to be in the triple digits this week.
It sure is, yeah. And when you are working out outside, you want to drink even if you're not feeling thirsty. Pre-hydrate. That's the name of the game this time of year. Here's the hour by hour heading into tomorrow. If you are doing anything outside like hiking, 6 a.m., 75 degrees. So very pleasant temperatures still very early in the day. But by 10 a.m., we're already getting it to close to 90. And by noon, we're at 93. There will be a few fair weather clouds, but the entire afternoon we will be in the mid to upper 90s and a slight breeze tomorrow afternoon. A heavier breeze further north and east, and that's where we have an elevated fire risk. From Flagstaff over into the White Mountains down towards southeastern Arizona. These are areas where the gusts will be around 20 to 30 miles per hour throughout the afternoon. And the timeline for that is by about lunchtime for the high country, continuing through about 4 p.m. And we'll also start to see the breeze increase here in the valley by the mid-afternoon, but also dying down after sunset. Mark?
Linz, thanks. Tonight, friends of Hannah Moody, the Scottsdale hiker who lost her life on a valley trail, are remembering her as a kind and adventurous soul. Her body was found yesterday along the Gateway Trailhead in the McDowell Mountain Preserve, North Scottsdale. A cause of death has not been released, but her friends and family members believe that she suffered a fatal bout of heat exhaustion. Hannah's close friend, Megan Pascal, described her as a nature lover who was happiest when she was out enjoying a hike.
She would want us to remember her in that way, you know, being outside with nature, connecting with the Lord, enjoying just our beautiful surroundings, and that it makes me so happy that people are seeing that and they're doing what they can to honor her in that way. She was just such a kind soul, you know, she had such a huge heart. Like I said, she would go out of her way to make a stranger smile.
Anna would have turned 32 next week. On her birthday, May 31st, her friends will hold a sunrise hike at the Gateway Trailhead in her memory.
Now to a story that you'll only see on 12 News. A routine flight turns into a mid-air emergency over the Southwest Valley today when 2 friends were forced to make an emergency landing. Fortunately, both men walked away without a scratch after safely landing the plane in a cornfield on 91st Avenue in Baseline. 12 News journalist Kyle Simchuk spoke with them and learned that this isn't their first emergency landing.
You know, when something like this happens, you've really got to start thinking fast.
What started as a pleasant flight Friday morning to Chandler for breakfast became a textbook emergency landing for pilot Jim Stark and his neighbor Pete Biddle.
Well, when we took off out of Chandler, it just didn't sound right, and then we got near Gila Crossing. The RPM was dropping. It just wasn't doing anything at all.
Stark and Biddle were flying at around 2,000 feet, still several miles away from their final destination at the Goodyear Airport. Losing altitude, Stark had only minutes to find a place to put down his Cessna 172, and the only thing on his mind?
Just get it on the ground in one piece. That's the answer.
For most people, this would be terrifying, but Stark and Biddle kept their cool. They've both lost engines before.
Well, you just got to find some place to put it down, but there's enough dirt roads out here that you can always find something.
The 2 debated flying to Payson this morning, but sure are glad they didn't. Stark set his eyes on this dirt road and landed safely.
Yeah, landing was a little rough. The dirt strip was a little rough, but what the hell? We were just happy that we were down.
No injuries and no damage to his plane, other than a mechanical issue which caused engine problems. Stark thinks fuel leaking from the plane's carburetor is to blame.
And it's a jewel of an airplane. I've never had a bit of trouble with it ever. And now here we are, parked in a bean field out here.
Despite the dusty detour, these friends say what happened won't keep them out of the skies for long.
Jim is one hell of a good pilot. He did one outstanding job landing.
Little did they know they would arrive back to the Goodyear Airport in the back of a 12 News car.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So the question now is, how is this Cessna going to get back to the Goodyear Airport? Well, Stark is having a mechanic come out tomorrow morning. He's going to take a look at the plane. If he can fix it here on this dirt road, Stark told us that he plans to fly the plane out of here, but if not, they're going to have to take off the wings and have it towed away back to Goodyear. We're in the Southwest Valley. Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
They seem like really good friends, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, that is the best story.
It is, yes. All right, Kyle, thank you.